What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the trade recap for today. P&L I can't even show because I passed 5 top steps, so they're already rolled over. But let me go to my email. As you can see, you've passed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're all 150s that I passed. So now I have max allo 750k on Topstep, so that's pretty cool. So I'll be working on trying to build buffers on those from now on. Let's get into the day though. So I was bearish for open. We inversed a 4 hour to the upside here, but then didn't do anything with it. Swept London and started selling off. I like this unfilled 4 hour as a draw. We also had equal lows at this 4 hour on the S&P 500. So I said to myself, okay, if we could accumulate and manipulate up top at open, then I would like to take shorts, right? So let's go to replay mode. What I noticed here was, we were accumulating a little bit here, nothing major, and then we started making a move up. We had a unfilled hourly gap above. So I was like, listen, if we could tap into this, then sure, that could work. But another thing to take into account was this bigger AMD that comes to mind, where as you can see, we are accumulating and manipulating. And then, right at open, what happens? We sweep London. We sweep London low with a 30-second inverse. You get him right there. Stop below the low, 1-to-1. Or stop below the gap, 1-to-1. Or if you wanted to go 1-to-1 with the low, that would also bank. So, I drew this trade out, but I didn't take it. Why? Because I was still pretty bearish, and I felt that this manipulation leg was very shitty. Alright, so when you sell off, you want a manipulation leg to look like this. You want it to sell off right to your liquidity pool. If you look, we pull back here, we make a run up pre-market, we open with a very high bullish wick right at open, and then we sell off. This manipulation leg is fine, and it's still valid, but I didn't like all the retracements on the leg. When I see an AMD, I want it to be chop, manipulation, distribution. Alright? I do not want to see us chop, manipulate, pull back, and then get our move. I want it to be very clean and in one fell swoop, right? So I like this trade, but I was trying to pass accounts. I was risking 4.5k per account per trade, so I did not want to risk that on a trade that I felt wasn't super clean. With those 930 opens, you can get manipulated very easily, so you have to be picky and make sure you only take the cleanest of setups. But this was a good setup for sure. I did call it out in the Discord, said I wasn't going to be taking it, but that it was a good trade, and it obviously ended up banking. So after that happens, then what occurs? Well, we accumulate for quite a bit of time at the top of this leg. And then we sell off, and what do we sell off into? Those equal lows and that 4 hour gap on ES that I was referencing earlier, which also happened to be Asia low at NQ. So I said, okay, oh my goodness, this is a, where is it? This is a perfect AMD model. This is a manipulation leg that I like seeing. And then I was like, there is a unfilled 5-minute gap above, so I can take it to the unfilled 5-minute, or take it, what's it called? I wanted to go a little bit higher than the unfilled 5-minute for my profit target. I took this 1-minute inverse right here, got this close. Honestly, I didn't catch the 5-minute immediately, and if I did, I probably would have just 1-to-1'd it to the 5-minute. But my dumbass was like, oh, we could get a big move off this. I don't think it was like this. I think it was more like I was aiming for like this. But what happened was we immediately hit the 5 and then react off of it, as you can see. So this ended up being a break-even long for me. But I said to myself, listen, if you go to the bigger picture, I wanted this to be an AMD model. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. But remember what I said about the 930 trade? How I didn't like how we were getting retracements and that wasn't as valid for me? Well, it's the same thing here. We respect the 5-minute gap. We open up an internal SMT as well. As you can see, we took out this high on ES, but not on NQ. So we get an internal SMT. There's a 1 minute inversion coming out of it. So I was like, listen, if AMD were to be valid, then we would have just shot through this 5 minute. But because it's not even 10 a.m. yet. So I think we're probably going to make a move lower, manipulate, take out this low, and then at 10 a.m. we'll start pumping up. So I said, okay, I'm going to flip and I'm going to get in these shorts. What happens? The 1 minute starts displacing crazy, so I hopped in during the candle. I chased a little bit on the entry, put my stop above the gap, and I said, I just want us to make a new low. I went break even at the low, and I took it for a little bit more, and TP just got hit. It was edging me for a bit, I can't lie, but I think it got hit like within 2 candles. So this was the trade. This is an A+ continuation model. We sold off, we retraced. If you get the leg of the sell-off move, we retraced into equilibrium and hit a gap in equilibrium with an internal SMT with a displacing inversion. AMD was violated here because we wanted to wait before we make this big move. We made this pullback. So now, instead of us getting an AMD move, we are instead just getting structure formed to the downside. So no matter what, like, this trade is probably going to keep us going to the downside if we cannot confidently displace through this 5 minute. So that was my sign to go bearish. And then, like I said, at 10 a.m., I got off here, but I said at 10 a.m. I wouldn't be surprised if we tap this gap on NQ and then we get longs. So as you can see, we miss the gap on NQ, but we do end up reversing. Here's the 10 a.m. candle. And I saw a couple people take this inversion because it is a internal liquidity sweep at this Asia low, an internal liquidity sweep. It looks way cleaner on ES personally. So a lot of people took this IFVG here for 1-to-1 with a stop below the fair value gap. I don't think it would have hit. It probably would have been a break-even trade if you put the stop below the low. It's just a very big target to be asking for. You're looking for 70 points, so probably be a break-even trade. Yeah, okay, cool. So for me, this 5 minute was just the most obvious setup. I said to myself, honestly, I didn't even see the 5 minute originally, so if I did, I probably would have won off my long anyway, just taking it to the 5. But seeing that reaction, noticing there was a 5, realizing that the AMD was not going to come to fruition on this play, just made me realize, okay, we're actually not reversing or distributing right now. We are just forming structure and retracing into it to continue our descent, and that's why, in my personal opinion, I think after 10 a.m., yes, we got long for a little bit, but overall, after that top wick was made at 10 a.m., we continued to sell off anyway. So after my trade went off, we did go for another 100 points below the low that I got out at. So that's something interesting to keep in mind. AMD, very, very powerful, but continuations are also king, and they're so simple. This is a simple-ass trade. I went on Instagram and saw literally everybody took this shit. So, yeah, that's the recap. That's how I found it, and we're on to tomorrow with 5 150K PAs on Topstep. Peace.